Chiefs Kingdom, let's ride, because week one of the season is here, which means football is back. Perfect time to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily Chiefs videos, the latest news, rumors, game previews. Got our week one preview on the channel if you want to go check that out. So subscribe right now, and let's jump into today's mailbag. You're watching the Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am Harrison Graham. Appreciate everybody for submitting their questions on today's show. We were going to go live and answer your questions there on Monday, but had some, sicknesses in the office, a couple of producers that were out, so couldn't go live. But we're here now, ready and eager to answer all of your questions. So let's go ahead and jump on in. Luxac here, kicking things off. Who is most likely to start at right tackle long-term this season? Andrew Wylie, Lucas Niang, or Darian Kinnard? Hopefully it's Lucas Niang, but it's probably going to be Andrew Wylie if I had to guess. I don't think Darian Kinnard is ready. I think he'll be kind of a swing guard tackle type this season, the fifth rounder out of Kentucky. We know Niang is on the PUP list, so at minimum he's going to miss the first 4 games, but it doesn't sound like there's been really any tangible updates there in a while. So it's going to be Andrew Wylie to start, so we know at least for 4 weeks, barring an injury, he's going to be the guy. That already chops off almost 25% of the year. He's a guy who has started 42 games over his 4 years in Kansas City, a lot at guard. Last year, 7 starts at right tackle, played pretty well overall. He's good enough at that spot while Niang is out. And the reality is with Lucas Niang, when he's been in there, he's played pretty well, but he's had some injury problems. He sat out his first year as a COVID opt-out. Don't know when he's going to be healthy. So if you had to ask me today, which you are, I'd have to say Andrew Wylie. I hope it's Lucas Niang because I think he's got the highest upside of any of your right tackle options, but at this point in time, I'd have to go with the veteran Andrew Wylie. Now, what do you guys think? I'll flip the question around. Most starts at right tackle this year. Type AW for Andrew Wylie, type LN for Lucas Niang, type DK for Darian Kinnard. It's going to be Wylie the first month unless he gets hurt. I'm going to type my AW for Andrew Wylie. Next up on our mailbag is Trish. Appreciate the question. Do you think that we will see the Chiefs run more tight end sets, 12 or 13 personnel, with only keeping 5 receivers? So yeah, the Chiefs kept 5 receivers on the active roster. What I will say is usually only 5 are active on game day anyway, and I do think all 5 will be active on game day, including Justin Watson. So it doesn't necessarily mean that. But at the same time, I do think they will run a lot of 2 and 3 tight end sets. We saw a lot of that in the preseason, especially in the red zone. You're going to see a lot of that with this group for a couple reasons. 1, your tight end room is good. And 2, that's been a staple in the past for Andy Reid. He runs some I formation 2 tight end stuff throughout drives. I mean, we saw it a lot in the preseason. We've seen it in the past as well. You've got Travis Kelce, Jody Fortson, Noah Gray, 3 guys that can play. Blake Bell is currently on injured reserve, so he's not going to be out there. But I think all 3 tight ends will be active, and I think they're all going to get some snaps. Obviously, Kelce is. But with Fortson, I think we'll see him a lot in the red zone. He'll be a big red zone target, and Gray's a pretty good all-around player as well. So long-winded answer is yes, I do think they'll run some 12 and even some 13 personnel on this offense this year, and I think it's going to be a somewhat staple to see that multiple tight ends on the field at the same time in 2022. From our good pal, Evan Massey, which players are you most eager to watch against the Cardinals? I had to think about this one. I mean, the obvious one's like, I always love watching Mahomes. I think he's the most entertaining product in sports, but that's the obvious answer. So these are some other guys I'm keeping a close eye on. Juju Smith-Schuster. Can he emerge and be this team's number 1 receiver? I'm eager to see if that happens. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he's entering year 3. He's RB1. Will he be for long? Teaser, we got a question on that later on, so stick with us here. Jody Fortson, I just mentioned him. Will he be a legitimate weapon on this team? I think he will. I'm eager to see how much he plays. Frank Clark, a lot of discussion around him this offseason. He's been sick this week, but has reportedly, or according to himself, cut out liquor and red meat out of his diet. Could be in really good shape and have a bounce-back season. And then rookie corner Trent McDuffie. How does he hold up in his first start against Arizona? Watching that as well. Had a strong camp in preseason. I have high hopes for him. So just a few players I'm keeping an eye on, several more that I will be as well, but those 5 stuck out to me. Now, BetUS is the place to go if you want to bet on NFL games, college football games, NBA games when basketball season is here, Major League Baseball, whatever you want to bet on, go do it with BetUS. Create an account today at chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Promo code is Chiefs125 to get the 125% deposit bonus. Betting odds for this matchup, Chiefs sitting at that 3.5-point favorite number. It's kind of gone between 3.5 and 4.5 points. Over-under set at 53.5 between the two teams. So BetUS projecting a high-scoring game. If you want to go bet on the Chiefs, bet against the Chiefs, bet the over-under. There's some prop bets available as well. Chatsports.com/ChiefsBet. Promo code Chiefs125. All right, we got a couple more here. Andy Corden asks, will Chiefs wide receiver Mecole Hardman have a 1,000-yard season? I'd be surprised. I wouldn't completely rule it out, Andy, but I would be surprised if it happened because he just hasn't taken enough leaps from year 1 to year 2 to year 3 for me to think, oh, he's ready now. And the logic from you guys, if you think he will, is, oh, well, Tyreek's gone. He can be that replacement. He's actually not super similar to Tyreek. He's got a lot of speed, but their games aren't super similar otherwise. He's certainly got in better from year 1 to year 4 here. Last year, he put his most complete year together outside of touchdowns, 59 catches, 693. But even then, you're talking about a 300-yard jump, over 300 yards to get to 1,000. I don't think it's going to happen. Now, that doesn't mean he won't have his best year. I think there's a good chance that'll happen, should get more opportunities. But something I've talked about quite a bit is I think the ball is going to get spread around more this year as well with Tyreek out of the mix. So I think Mecole will have some big games, but enough to get 1,000 yards. If I predicted that for any of the receivers, I'd probably say it's going to be Juju. Now, you guys predict it in the comments. Predict Mecole Hardman's stats this year. You can predict full stats, yards, catches, touchdowns, or you can just guess touchdowns, whatever you want to do. Predict it down in the comments section. All right, AJ, you get the final word. I believe this is the last one. 2 more questions. Oh, bonus question coming up. Do you think Pacheco will take CEH's place and take RB1? I've been asked this a few times since he's had the strong training camp, and the answer is maybe, but it would take some time for him to get there, I think. For now, CEH is that guy. Jarrett McKinnon's RB2. Pacheco's RB3. Now, Pacheco has the potential to be that because he's a 3-down back. Like, McKinnon's not a 3-down back, so he's not going to be RB1, but at least not for an extended period of time. I don't think Ronald Jones will be RB1. He rallied just to make this team. But could Pacheco be that guy? I think it's possible. Now, it's going to take some time. It's just not going to be handed to him, but let's see how Clyde looks. I want to see how the former first-round pick comes out early on in the season. I mean, hell, maybe he'll run for 100 yards this week. Who knows? But if he struggles, or obviously if he gets banged up, which he's been known to do in the past, then Pacheco could be there ready to go and take advantage of that opportunity. All right, now the final question. Freddie Martinez, do you think the Chiefs will go undefeated against the AFC West this year? I mean, realistically, probably not, Freddie. That's a pretty big ask, considering this is, at least on paper, the best division in football. You're talking about 4 playoff caliber teams, 4 teams that have high expectations for themselves. Obviously, the Chiefs, they have high expectations every year until Patrick Mahomes retires at this point. The Chargers, they added a lot to that defense. J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, year 3 of Justin Herbert. The Raiders went out and got Devontae Adams, Chandler Jones, some other pieces. And then the Broncos with Russell Wilson in the fold now. We've said for years if they get a good quarterback, they're going to be a threat. I mean, 6-0 against this division, like, if that happens, then 17-0 is not out of the realm of possibility because the division is that good. I don't think either of those things are happening, by the way. 4-2 would be a good result against this division. It's just that tough. All right, now who's going to win the division when it's all said and done? Will the Chiefs win it yet again? I still think they're the favorites. According to BetUS, they are, but it's going to be tougher. Type KC if you think it's going to be the Chiefs. Type LAC if you think it's going to be the Chargers. LV if you're going with the Raiders. And then DEN if it's going to be the Denver Broncos. I'm riding with the Chiefs, but it's going to be tighter this year. There's no doubt about it. All right, appreciate everybody for getting to the end of this video. Subscribe. Join us on Sunday. I think we're going to have a second half watch party for Chiefs versus Cardinals. So we'll get after it at halftime, and then in the second half, we'll bring you home and have a post-game show. So join us then. Until then, so long here on the Chiefs Report.